I'm your host, Joshua.
I'm your host, Ariel. And we're the Midnight Guild.
Welcome back, everybody, to another fun-filled, well, maybe not fun-filled, but another episode.
Informative.
Yes, an informative episode of the Midnight Guild. Your two favorite Southern Gothic podcasters here.
Yes, honey. Okay, so little side, our little side tangents before we get it going.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see about Gerald the dolphin?
Yes, poor little Gerald, honey, kidnapping that man, making him build an underwater city.
Yeah, guys. So if you don't know,
he's just living the dream.
Apparently, there's this Florida man. I think his name was Ricky. That. Go ahead.
No,
you were saying, of course it is. I feel like
little Ricky, Mark, Ricka, Steve.
So apparently, okay. So Ricky says that he was kidnapped on the beach. Mm-hmm. And taken out to sea and taken down into the water by a dolphin named Gerald that talked to him telepathically.
Yeah.
And
gave him a breathing apparatus.
That's what I was going to say. Apparently he said that, he made, a bubble around him. So where he could breathe. Yeah. I thought you meant, you said breathing apparatus? I thought you meant like a tank. Not going to lie, I did.
That's all right.
And Gerald forced Ricky to start work on an underwater city. And
would not release him until they were satisfied with the results.
Right. And apparently he took him back up to land and told him that he'd be back for him when it was time for phase 2. But get this is where it gets crazy, because I know this sounds insane and I'm not saying I believe it, but low key, I'm going to tell you why. You know that when they took him to the hospital, he had damage and stuff in his lungs a little bit and stuff like that. I'd have to look up at what his official stuff was, but it was somebody that has this issue is someone that has been underwater at depth for a very long time.
Oh, well. Honestly, given first that it's Florida, you just never know.
That's what so many people online have said. They're like, of course it's Florida.
But honestly, for me, the most unbelievable part of the story.
Please say that it's the same thing I think.
Is that the fact that the dolphin's name is
Gerald. Yes, that is also my part. I'm like, okay, that dolphin made that up.
Yeah.
His name is not Gerald unless he escaped from fucking SeaWorld or something.
And can you say just the dolphins after they've released Ricky back into the wild and stuff like that? They're like, let him talk.
They'll never believe him.
Nobody will believe him.
They'll never believe him. Oh, and that the dolphins communicate in clicks, clicking. But they were able to talk to Gerald was able to talk to him telepathically. Look it up, because it might have changed since I looked at it, because this was the morning of.
So this is either the story of the century or something that tells us that you should not be doing the bath salts anymore.
Right, because if it's not true about the at depth thingamajig, because that's what I read, but you could read false information. So look it up, do your research, and honey, if you find out, tell us in the comments.
Which, if we're being honest, I would not be too mad about being kidnapped by dolphins.
Do you know that I literally thought the same thing? I'm like, bro, the world's on fire. Why are you upset?
Yeah, is there going to be a spot for me down here?
I'm like, is there a way, if they like you, that they can turn you into a mermaid?
Right.
Because obviously there's some type of magic going on. So I'm determined that maybe the dolphins have magic.
They could.
And maybe they could turn us into mermaids. A girl can wish.
Disney 2027. A dolphin named Gerald.
Literally.
Dolphin Tales.
It's just a whole new show.
It's a whole new show.
It's just Gerald on his mission to build the underwater city.
Yes. And Ricky should not have ran his mouth, first of all. That's not cool, Ricky. I'm
like, you're definitely not getting picked for phase 2 now.
Obviously not. However, Gerald, if you're listening.
If you're taking applications.
We'll do it, honey. We'll do it. Now, I'm not good at building or nothing.
Yeah,
but we'll make Jesse build.
But you have to take us with him.
Yeah.
We'll help. We'll help by ordering him around and telling him what looks good and what looks straight.
Oh, and we can do so many fun dolphin things together.
Not only that, we can decorate it.
Oh, yeah.
Build it? No. Decorate it?
Most definitely.
We're your bitches.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to tell us about your culture telepathically because you know they're going to have their own dolphin culture.
Right.
So we can get the best art.
And you can even teach us the click system.
Honey, we will learn a different language.
Yeah.
To be mermaids?
Yeah. I love. Yeah, we
will do it. I don't think it's like, more of a squeak, wouldn't you think? Because dolphins, that's the way they talk. They're like, I can't do it. I'll sound stupid. But he did say clicks, but he's a Florida man.
Oh, God.
Sorry, I just was hearing dolphins in my head.
It's fine.
Oh, God, that sounds funny. I heard dolphins in my head.
Dolphins in my head.
It's Gerald.
Famous last words right there.
If we go missing, it's definitely Gerald the dolphin.
They have come and got us.
Because here we are talking our shit. We're like, come get us.
Yeah. Give us 4 days and then look for us.
Honey, if they took us down there and told us to build, we'd be like, I'd rather not.
Sorry about that.
I don't think so. They're like, we're going to take this bubble off you and you're going to drown if you don't. I'm like, sounds okay.
Have you seen the state of our world?
Manual labor drowning.
Don't threaten me with a good time, Gerald.
Okay, let's see. I can't really, I know there's all kinds of crazy shit going on in politics and stuff like that. Yeah, but honey, I'm going to be honest with you.
We're just going to bypass that.
Well, I was going to say, I've not been paying attention last week because shit has just gotten so bad that I'm like, I need a break.
It's pretty much the same thing that we reported on last time. Just amplify it by
just
3.
Worse.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I mean, sometimes you just need to take a fucking news break.
World War III is here. It's fine. It's the end of the world as we know it. Ariel here. She's got us. She's researched us the story.
Yes, it's true crime. We're doing a true crime today. Now, I want to go ahead and do a little PSA.
That's never good.
This is a rough one.
Graphic. It's
definitely it does get graphic, and it talks about it's themes of there. Obviously, there is murder, there is violence, there's rape. Definitely, just be cautious, and if you can't handle it, we'll see you on the next one.
Right.
So, I guess let's get started.
Let's get started, honey. Off into Roten.
I will say this: I had to do this in 2 days because when I was doing my research, I had to take a break. But I'm pretty sensitive to stuff like this, so. Not everybody is. Some people, they can listen to true crime all day and be totally fine. Not me.
I'm one of those people.
I definitely can't. It bothers me. After a while, it just, all that horrible violence, that you just heard over and over again, it just makes me so depressed. And it makes me terrified of the world.
She has a better heart than I do.
Oh, honey, I cry. On these true crime cases, honey, I cry. Oof. You haven't even heard the story yet. You might cry.
Maybe.
This one comes with a lot of footage from police cams, from CCTV, from security cameras, inside the police
car department,
the police station. Honey, just totally. I was trying to say building. I was going to the police building.
A building where the police are at.
Yeah, those. So if you want to look more into this case, you can. All you have to do is look it up on TikTok or YouTube, and you can watch the footage. And that is where, how I told you I cried?
Mm-hmm.
That is why I cried. The real footage you're watching, it's not just like a reenactment or them talking about it on a documentary.
That always does make it worse.
This was rough. Okay. Britney Ujlaky is a 16-year-old cowgirl living in Nevada with her father, Jim, mother, Alicia, and younger brother, James. He's only younger by 2 years. They were really, really close, actually. Britney's mom and dad end up getting a divorce when she's around this age at 16. But it's amicable. And Britney and her brother, James, would stay living in the house with their father, but their mom would just move a couple streets over so she could be close to them. They were still a very tight-knit family. They had been really tight-knit when they were married, but they still remained, like I said, very amicable. Britney is super close with her family, especially her brother James. They do everything together. They're two peas in a pod. She loved the outdoor ranch lifestyle. She grew up. That's all she'd ever really known. She loved horses. And
equestrian.
Yes. She would ride for hours and then just help out on the ranch just so she could be around the horses and just love on them and take care of them and, ride them. Britney really was just a sweetheart, and such a super animal lover. But unfortunately, she wasn't always beloved in return. She was severely bullied in high school by some girls at her high school. And it was relentless, apparently. So this led to Britney's parents, Jim and Alicia, pulling her out of public school and having her homeschooled at age 16. After leaving public school, Britney gets a job at one of the local ranches and is really starting to thrive. She couldn't be happier to work with her favorite animals every day and just be on the ranch and school from home. It really turned her mindset around because, she wasn't being relentlessly bullied. She could actually thrive and live her life. So right as things are seemingly really starting to look up for Britney, a turn of events would change everything for her and her family. And honestly, the entire town. Britney goes missing on Sunday, March 8th, 2020.
Oh.
Britney at the start of the day, Britney would go with her father, Jim, to band practice. After staying at her dad's band practice for a while, Britney tells her dad that her friend Bryce is coming to pick her up and they're going to go hang out for a while. Bryce Dickey was one of Britney's best friends, whom she met at the age of 11. They were both doing the rodeo circuit together. Bryce was 2 years older than her, so at the time that this happens, Bryce is 18, she's 16. But he was like a big brother to her. Her family had really taken him under their wing, and he was always at their house. He was literally they're a third child to them. Mm-hmm. So this wasn't weird that she was going out with Bryce. This was an everyday thing, and her family completely trusted her with Bryce. They knew she would be safe with him. On March 8th, around 3:30 p.m., Bryce would pick up Britney in his blue Chevy truck, and as he's picking her up, actually, Britney would playfully run to get into Bryce's vehicle, her dad said, and she would, before entering the passenger side of the truck, she would turn back to her dad and yell, "I'll beat you home," and then hop in the truck, and her and Bryce would take off. After finishing his band practice, Jim would arrive home around 7:30 p.m., and he immediately noticed that, Britney had in fact not beaten him home. And he wasn't worried. I mean, it's just 7:30. And he just assumed that, she decided to hang out longer. But he did think it was odd that she hadn't texted him. Because most of the time, if she was, not doing what, if plans changed or something like that, she would at least send a text to let him and her mom know, hey, I'm going to be out longer. So he let it go for a little bit, but then he started getting later and he started to get more worried. So he was like, I'll feel better if I holler at her mom. So he calls Alicia and asks her, hey, have you heard from Britney? And she's like, no. Why, have you not heard from her? And he was like, well, she told me she'd be home, blah, 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 blah. And she's not. And he was like, let me call James. James would automatically assume that Britney had snuck out or went to a party with Bryce and had just let her phone die. So initially, James, being a good brother, tries to cover for Britney. Mm-hmm. He doesn't know where she is. But he never, ever suspects that his sister is in danger because she's with Ross.
Yeah.
And so he tries to cover for her for quite a little bit. And then he would secretly text Bryce asking where Britney was, where him and Britney were, and what time they were going to be back, because his and Britney's dad was starting to worry, and he didn't know how long he could hold him off, basically. Bryce would text back to James and tell him that he wasn't with Britney anymore and that he had dropped her off at the high school parking lot to meet a guy. Bryce didn't even meet this new friend of Britney's. He just said that it was a tall white guy with a cowboy hat on, which doesn't really narrow it down in a ranching community, But Bryce did remember the guy's truck. He said it was a green Ford F-150 with stickers in the back window. Bryce immediately starts Snapchatting all of his and Britney's friends and asks if any of them have seen Britney or the green F-150. Nobody has any idea where Britney is or the mystery cowboy. Bryce, Britney's parents, and his brother James all go into basically a full panic mode. For the rest of Sunday and part of the next day on Monday, no one can find Britney. And a bunch of people are looking, like friends and stuff like that. So at 6 a.m. the next morning, Britney's parents call the police. And Britney is basically officially considered missing. During the police's interview with Alicia and James, Alicia reveals that Bryce had told her that he knew Britney had been Snapchatting with a guy named JT, and that Britney had talked a lot about JT recently, but Bryce didn't know anything more about him other than his name is JT. The police would take the description Bryce had given James and proceed to start the investigation. The police had Bryce meet them at the high school, and they go over the details of him last seeing Britney. Bryce would tell the police that him and Britney had drove around for a couple of hours, and later he dropped her off at the high school, where he watched Britney walk to the other side of the parking lot and meet up with the tall cowboy in a green F-150, and then Bryce would leave then pull out of the parking lot. When the sheriff questioned Bryce about driving around for hours and how he found that odd, because it's a waste of gas, is what the cop said, actually. Bryce would tell the officer that he did that every day, basically, like drove around. And I believed him because I used to do that. Like me and my friends used to drive around for hours, but
sometimes that's all there is to do in a small town.
Literally. Like I was like, oh my God, me and my friends used to do that constantly, just jamming and driving around. So I didn't think that was odd. But the sheriff pressed harder or whatever, but Bryce would show the officer his phone and all the text messages he had sent to Britney, trying to get her to respond when her family couldn't reach her. In a lot of the messages, Bryce would refer to Britney as Little Sis, which was a theme in their texts, it seemed, even before that day. With basically no real leads, the police would track Britney's cell phone the next day, and they located the general area to be in about 5 miles east of the high school. The police, Britney's family, and friends would all gather with basically the whole town. I mean, literally, everybody came out to help to search for Britney, her phone, and of course the green F-150. Britney's mom posted flyers all over town, and they had Britney's picture and information, as well as a tip line people could call with any information that might help the police find Britney. But unfortunately, 24 hours pass, and there's still no sign of Britney at all. This is when Britney's mom, Alicia, receives a horrifying text message from an unknown number, and it's a ransom text. Telling Alicia that she would need to pay the kidnappers $25,000 to get Britney back. The kidnapper told Alicia that they had drugged Britney and she wasn't reacting well to the drug, and that if Britney got worse, it would be her family's fault for not hurrying with the ransom money. Police tell Alicia not to respond to the ransom text as they try to track down the phone, sending the message. But the next day, Alicia receives even more text messages from the alleged kidnappers, telling Alicia that she is taking too long and that she must not love her daughter. So Alicia is like about to have a meltdown because she's like, I mean, she knows what the police told her to do, but she's freaking out. I mean, that's her child. That's her baby. Exactly. Like all she wants to do is just do what these people asked to get her kid back. So she goes straight into the police station and is like, listen, I need to report these new text messages I've received. And they take her into the back of the police station. While this is happening, 5 miles east from the high school, a couple of townsmen are driving around the desert searching for Britney or that green F-150 or anything that they could really find. And these are just regular citizens. They're just trying to help find Britney. They see like a dark spot on the side of the road. So they pull off and take a closer look at it. And from what they can tell, it looks like blood, dried blood. And not far from that dark spot, off in the distance, was a blue tarp covering something. The men didn't go look. They just immediately called what they found into the police, and the police came straight out. And when they arrived on scene, they found what they were afraid they would: Britney's remains. At the police station, one of the detectives on Britney's case had to be the one to break the news to Britney's mother, Alicia, who was already at the police station. I want to interject here and just say that from, like, when you see this footage, if you watch it, it is such a moment of just heart-shattering sadness that you feel for this poor mom.
I can only imagine.
It is absolutely heartbreaking. The detective that comes in to talk to Alicia has her basically sit down, and he tells her, like, straight up, he's like, he's very kind about it, as kind as you can be. And he gets very, very close to her because I think he knows that she's going to lose it. He tells her, I do have to tell you that we have found a body. Alicia practically passes out into the detective's arms and is just screaming for somebody to help her. It is one of the saddest, most heartbreaking things I've ever seen. Britney's body would be found dismembered and strewn throughout the grass around the blue tarp. Her torso would be under the tarp, but one of her hands and her head would be outside in the grass. While searching the area, police would stumble upon a used condom thrown into a patch of tall grass. This means the police now have the killer's DNA. So that's basically the only win in that horrible find that the police are having to, see. A local gas station, think across from the high school, had loads of CCTV footage of the day that Britney went missing. The police comb through the footage and never once see a green F-150. But they do see Bryce's blue Chevy. They see Bryce's blue Chevy go past. He doesn't even pull into the high school parking lot. Bryce was actually driving the direction of which the police found Britney's body out in the desert. So, police's number one question, why is Bryce lying if he didn't have anything to do with it?
It's not nice, Bryce.
Police almost immediately call Bryce in for questioning under the guise of it just being like a routine, as to not alarm him. But the real reason that the police want to get him in there is so they can get a sample of his DNA. I mean, they have to ask for it, but they want to make him feel comfortable, make him feel like he's not really a suspect, So they get him in there, they get him under the guise, like I said, that he's not really a suspect, and that they basically just need to mark his name off a list. And that what would help them do that is if he gave them a sample of his DNA. And he does, willingly. It's all on footage, completely willingly. As the DNA tests are being run or whatever, police also had completely went through Bryce's phone and his Snapchat, of all things. Gave him away. Snapchat had logged Bryce's location every time he had opened the app. And wouldn't you know, Bryce Dickey opened Snapchat at the exact location Britney's body had been found. There was even saved selfies of Bryce and Britney saved on Britney's Snapchat memories from where her and Bryce had been out there together. Literally minutes or even moments before this poor girl was brutally raped and murdered. She literally was taking Snapchats with what she thought was her best friend. Even with all the Snapchat evidence, police remain calm and collected because they have to wait for this DNA stuff to come back. But the police begin to basically spring a trap for Bryce. Police ask Bryce if there's any reason for his DNA to come up on Britney's body. He says no. And when asked if there was ever a sexual relationship between the two, Bryce denies it. The DNA test results at this time have come back, and they are a match. Bryce's DNA is found under Britney's fingernails and inside the condom. When the police approached Bryce with the results of the DNA test, Bryce starts saying it's impossible. There's no way that could be so. But the officer keeps pushing, like, explain to me how it's there then. It's got your DNA on the inside of it and her DNA on the outside of it. Tell me how. Bryce quickly starts to break, pretty much, attempting to lie his way out of being accused of Britney's murder. Bryce says to detectives that Britney was super flirty with him on that day for some reason, and she had offered him a blowjob. And even though it didn't feel like this was really happening, he said, because since they were, like brother and sister, he didn't say that part, I just made that up, but he was saying it didn't feel real because that had never been their relationship before. He did accept her offer. And he said that Britney had given him a blowjob with a condom on. But Bryce goes on to assure police that was all that happened between him and Britney, and that him and Britney had never had sexual relations other than that one time, the oral sex.
He lied.
Bryce would continue to tell officers that he did, in fact, still drop Britney off with the guy in the green F-150 at the high school afterwards. He's not giving up on this story, guys. Idiot. But the police are stupid. Bryce continues to change his story more and more once they're like, dude, you didn't even pull into the high school. Like, we have it on CCTV. So, like I said, Bryce would continue to change his story. He first saying that he knew the cowboy kid, and they gave him a name, gave the police a name from a local boy in town, that he had met him once, and that he thinks that, it was him that was the cowboy dude. And the police push back immediately and like, you've known who killed Britney this whole time and you never told us? Bryce quickly pivots again and panics, basically, and changes his story quickly. So, he's going to fuck up on details. Saying that after him and Britney had oral sex, that they began to argue on the way back into town about how they had ruined their friendship, and Britney jumped out of Bryce's truck at a stop sign, and something horrible must have happened to her afterwards, is what he said. Detectives asked Bryce basically straight up what he would think of his story if he was them. And Bryce answers them that I'm lying about everything. I'm smart enough to know what you all think. Police then move forward with the arrest of Bryce Dickey for the murder and sexual assault of Britney Ujlaky. 11 days after her murder on March 19th, 2020. Almost 2 years to the day, on March 9th, 2022, Bryce Dickey was put on trial for Britney's murder and sexual assault with a deadly weapon. The evidence was stacked against Bryce, from the Snapchat location, the selfies on Britney's Snapchat, the CCTV footage, and, of course, the used condom with his DNA at the crime scene. But despite all of this, Bryce still pleads not guilty. But Bryce's ex-girlfriend would take the stand and reveal Bryce's sexual preferences on the stand. One being choking. Britney was killed by, her carotid artery had been cut, and somebody had strangled her also. So apparently Bryce likes to choke the women that he's with. She would tell the court that she had expressed how this made her uncomfortable to Bryce on more than one occasion, but Bryce would continue to do this whenever they were intimate. And in fact, the last time Bryce had choked her to the point where she was scared of him was the same night that they had been to a candlelight vigil for Britney. With a mountain of evidence and the ex-girlfriend's testimony, along with others, Bryce Dickey would be found guilty of the murder and sexual assault of Britney Ujlaky. I could not pronounce her last name. You guys know what I'm saying. Sorry. Bryce would be sentenced to life in prison with the ability of parole only after he serves 46 years behind bars.
He should be put in a wood chipper, in my opinion.
Agreed. Bryce would immediately attempt to appeal the verdict, but it is turned down. They do not let him appeal.
Good.
Thank goodness. Brittany's ashes were scattered in one of her favorite horseback riding spots on the ranch she loved so much.
Okay.
And as horrible as this is, I'm glad that her family got justice. That they, justice for her. This, I usually don't like to talk about true crime stuff. I really don't. But when I saw this, I was just like, I have to tell this story. Like this poor girl, and I was like, never trust people, guys.
I was going to say, oddly enough, today is March 19th.
Is it really?
It is.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
A little wild.
That is wild.
Mm-hmm. I just happened to look down, and I was like, it's March 19th, Ariel.
Wow. Well, Bryce Dickey can rot in fucking prison, honey. Yeah. I definitely thought her story deserved to be told. And, like, honestly, guys.
It did deserve to be told.
Be careful who you trust.
I mean, even if they claim to be, it's sad in this situation because she truly thought that was her friend.
Yeah. And so did her parents.
But sometimes, honey, people do fool you. And I feel
like that's rare when it's like this.
Yeah.
But it's just always be so cautious. Ooh. It's just awful.
It is awful.
That's the worst part.
It is awful. But, we're glad that justice was served.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think it's the justice that any of us wanted.
No.
But it is justice. Because he deserves it. He don't deserve to even have parole.
No, I agree. I agree.
I mean, if you violently rape and murder someone and dismember them.
Well, I know. And he was in, a position of trust.
Yes.
Knows how long that he'd even been planning and plotting that.
I know. It's fucked up.
He's a sick individual that's getting everything he deserves.
Absolutely.
Just know, Bryce, that we're going to be praying for you.
Gosh, you're better than me.
Honey, you should hear some of my prayers.
You're like, I know how to word them.
I know how to word them.
Hope he gets everything he deserves, Lord. That's so you, ain't it?
It is. Oh, it's not funny.
No, not this. I'm just saying you.
It kind of reminds me of when I was younger and I came back from, the big city.
Yeah.
And everything. And my mama, one night, she just looked over at me and she said, honey, I used to pray, get down on my knees every night and pray to God that he would make your life miserable every day you was up there. Well, thanks, Mother. He listened. Your prayer was, in fact,
answered. Dang, yeah. Sally didn't hold back, honey.
No.
Sally did not hold back. But guys, I know this one was a super sad one, but
it was a little sad. But I'm glad that justice was served, and that little girl got the justice, even though I think that he should be eliminated. But apparently, it's inciting violence.
The way you said it was, guys, I couldn't put it in here because
it's fine.
He was letting it rip.
It's fine. Well,
as you should, though.
Right. I don't tolerate that kind of nonsense.
Exactly, Bryce. If you happen to stumble across this, fuck you.
You better hope you're not paroled in 40 years, big buddy.
No, God, think about all the people that will be waiting to be like, Bryce, you're getting ready to get fucked up. You probably should not come out.
No. For his own safety, really.
Yeah, honestly, though.
There's this crazy gay in Tennessee that has vowed justice for this little girl.
Amen. But all jokes aside, I know this was a rough one. But we'll get back to more like haunted, creepy stuff next time. Or actually, our next one, we have a really good story. I'm not going to give too much away, but it is a good story. It's about a badass.
A baddie.
A badass lady named, what was it, Aunt Fran?
Aunt
Fan. Honey, and that's all we're going to tell you. Don't look it up because you'll ruin the story for yourself.
But you'll have to come back and listen to a more, sort of wholesome story.
It's not wholesome.
it has a wholesome
but ending. It's got a bad bitch in it.
It does.
And honey, she handles business.
Up front.
I don't know why, but I almost said in the back. Guys, follow us on all the things.
Everything.
Honey, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, all the things.
Everything, honey.
And, honey, on YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe. And then you go over to that little bell.
Ring a ding.
Click it. And then you're going to select all.
Selected all, honey.
And, honey, you won't miss a thing.
Won't miss a thing.
Not a thing, honey. See you on the next one, guys. Bye.